As you can see, this is an old fountain right here that out at Union Park here, and I've seen old postcards of people swimming in here, like an old picnic table off to the side. I found a lot of old coins up in this hillside over here because it used to be where the roller coaster was at, and the old pump house for the roller coaster was a little bit farther up a little bit here, and I think it's right about where this section is, right in here, right next to the fountain. I found some old pennies and old mercury dimes and some barbers up in this area, so it's going to be worth a look more in the springtime when everything melts here. Give it about a month or so. As you can see right in front of me, there's a steps going up here. The snow's over the top of it. You can see that back foundation behind me, or in front of me I should say. That used to be the Mammoth Theater. It was the biggest theater in Iowa at one time, and they used to have big bands that came in here. It was really a big deal at that time. The old newspaper articles I read listed people like Guy Lombardo and other band leaders of that era. It's pretty interesting. As you can see in front of me, there's some pieces of sidewalk that are broken up and kind of scattered along this, where the creek bed is right here. It's all frozen over right now. The creek bed goes all the way through the park right here, and there was a really bad major flash flood in here in 1919 and wiped out just about everything in here. This Mammoth Theater got destroyed almost. A lot of the pavilions got destroyed. 5 people perished in the flood that came through here. So the park, what it did after that flood came through, they decided to put in one of the biggest swimming pools in Iowa at that time, and I'll walk ahead to that. Right now I'm kind of walking into what was called the children's playground, and I've showed old postcards that showed how big that was, and I'll get up in there and I'll show you the rest of that. A lot of these hillsides up here, I talked to other treasure hunters and other hunters that have detected here, and they found a lot of silver, a lot of old Indians through here. So it's been pretty interesting for them, and me too. So, alright, here's the old swimming pool. Used to be the largest in Iowa. That's what it was sold as, or that's what their advertisements always said. Just incredible. They put this up after the flash flood in 1919 to try to draw people back to this park, because 5 people perished in the flash flood, and I think a lot of people were scared to come back. And this pool was put in just to draw people back in, and I know that the park closed in 1935, so this is pre-1935. Right now I'm standing where the bowling alley used to be. There used to be a group of buildings right here. There was a bowling alley, and when I pan to my right here, there used to be a washroom and more pavilions down in here. They're all gone now. Some of the foundations, you can find some of it, but most of it's all gone, except for the bigger foundations like in the bowling alley and the Mammoth Theater that I just showed you. Here I'm walking up on where the greenhouses used to be for the park. They used to grow flowers, and here's an old root cellar in there. The old house used to be up in here. There's some foundation parts up in here. This is for the caretaker that used to watch the park and maintain everything, like the maintenance guy. Looking around in here, this is where the turnaround right down below is for the trolley. And again, right in front of me, there used to be a big giant wooden roller coaster up here at one time. And I find old track parts like some of the chain for the roller coaster I found on this hillside before in front of me. There's an old sidewalk that goes all the way up this hillside right here and goes up. And there's a place, an old lead mine up there that used to have tours through it. It used to be called the Cave. I've seen old postcards where they had steps going in it, but in 1935 when they shut this down, they dynamited the cave shut so nobody would go in there and get hurt. And you can still get into it, but you got to crawl through it. I think they left a small opening for like bats and animals or whatever else. Here's where the old water tower was for the park. It's like a big cistern. From what I understand, it supplied all the water. I'm not sure if it was pumped in here or they just used rainwater or what happened, but my guess is it was all pumped in. This is on the top of the hill overlooking the park. If I look down here, there's Mammoth Theater. You can barely see the foundation down in there. If I swing past the water tower again, down in this valley is where the roller coaster was once. Right down in there. That's why this park is only huntable in the springtime, because everything gets overgrown pretty bad in here.